This happened to me a few months ago, and I'd like to share it because I think my story might interest some people, and I would also like some opinions on what this thing could have been. My friend was born in France, and her dad's side of the family is something like 17th in line for the throne or something. Basically, her dad's side of the family has historically been very high-class French people. And they have a lot of haunted stuff from pre-20th century France. One of these things is a dresser with a mirror. The family legend goes that in the 1800s, a girl died sitting at that dresser, in front of the mirror. Fast forward to 2023, that dresser and mirror is in my friend's apartment. One night we had a party, and after everyone left at around 2 a.m. she fell asleep on her bed and I tried to fall asleep on her couch. It was not quite pitch black. I felt safe, but for some reason I just couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. I tried to ignore it and just go to sleep. I closed my eyes and started to get tired. After a few moments of attempting to drift off to sleep, I got a terrible feeling in my gut that something was very wrong. I felt a presence standing next to the couch. I don't know how to describe this feeling, I just knew that there was something there. I shut my eyes tighter, hoping maybe I was just being paranoid. And then something touched my foot. Something literally touched my foot. I felt pressure on the couch right next to my foot, and the blanket brushed against my foot in a way that could only suggest that something had hit or poked the blanket right next to it. It felt like someone was about to grab my feet, but got scared and chickened out at the last second. This wasn't some weird thing with the air conditioning or anything, this felt very human and very solid. My eyes snapped open and I suddenly woke up. For a split second I could still feel the pressure around my foot, so I know it was a real sensation I was feeling and not just a weird dream thing where you think something is happening in a dream, but then you wake up and don't feel it anymore. Plus, I didn't even fall asleep in the first place, I was just laying there with my eyes closed. I thought maybe my friend had managed to get out of bed and walk past me so quietly I didn't notice but accidentally brushed up against my foot or something. But then I turned my head to where my feet are, and I saw a humanoid shadow standing there. Just right there, looming over me. Clear as day. Like I said, it wasn't quite pitch black in the room, but this thing was. When I saw it, my blood ran cold and I got that gut feeling that says get out. I blinked, looked away, and when I looked back, it was gone. I turned around to check if my friend was out of bed, she wasn't. She was fast asleep. I turned on my phone and used the light from the screen to investigate a little bit. Nothing was laying on the couch around my foot, so what could I have possibly felt? There wasn't anything in the room that looked even vaguely like a human silhouette, so what was that shadow? My instincts were screaming at me to leave, so I grabbed my bag, slipped on my shoes, and left. Somehow, I felt safer walking around New York at 2:30 in the morning than I did inside my friend's apartment. So what do you guys think that thing was? I feel like it must be connected to the dresser and mirror in some way, but the entity had such a dark energy, it didn't feel like it could have been the ghost that's supposedly attached to the dresser. If anyone has any idea, I'd love to hear it. A few years back I went to a medium who speaks to those who have passed over. During my session with him he informed me that my grandfather was there. He even gave me my grandfather's name. He told me that my grandfather wanted me to go to bingo and that he would make it worth my while. I used to go to bingo years ago but have not in many years. He told me that my grandfather would give me the feeling when it was time to go. So, that time arrived. I was washing dishes after supper one early evening and there was a commercial on our local radio station about a bingo in my hometown, about an hour away that was going to be quite the event. I brought it up to my husband, and said let's go to my parents and you can hang out with the boys, they were little guys at this time, and you can visit with my parents. So off we went, and I went to bingo and I won $200. On my arrival back into my parents' house, I announced that I won. Everyone was excited but of course wanted to see the money. Before I went to show them the money, I had an unbelievable feeling of freezing. I asked everyone if they felt that cold breeze that just went through. Everyone was talking to each other, no one seemed to have heard me. I said it again and everyone kept talking. I felt a little weird and asked the third time and said it quite loud, again no response from anyone. My parents, my husband, and my two boys were all talking amongst themselves as if I wasn't even there. While the whole time, I was feeling this freezing breeze all around me. At the fourth time, as I'm trying to get everyone's attention, I'm no longer cold and everyone now is looking at me. I asked them if anyone was hearing me talk and if they felt the freezing breeze go through and no one heard me talk or felt a cold breeze. I was a bit weirded out, but continued to reach into my front pocket of my pants and take out the folded $200 all in $20 bills. As I unfolded the money, smack dab in the middle of the folded money was a bridge of a fiddle. This money was counted out to me by the bingo attendant and I also counted it out before I placed it into my pocket. There 100% was absolutely no bridge of a fiddle anywhere near that money. I cannot explain to you how shocked I was to try and figure out how that bridge of a fiddle got into my pocket, let alone in between $10, $20 bills. Now to get a bit more freaky here, my grandfather was a well-known fiddle player in my hometown with the locals, when he was alive. My father had his father's, this same grandfather, 2 fiddles in safekeeping and we were always warned as young kids to never touch the fiddles and my boys were always warned to never touch the fiddles. My father was always scared they were going to get broken. As I was in shock, looking at this bridge, I kept asking everyone in the room if they put this in my pocket somehow, knowing in my head that there was no way I wouldn't feel someone's hand go into my pocket to place this there. And of course, everyone was telling me no, they didn't put it in my pocket. My father was very concerned at this moment and told us all to follow him to his bedroom. He took the 2 fiddles out of their safe place, opened them up and lo and behold one of the 2 fiddles was missing a bridge. I cannot explain this story. The only thing I can say, is that my grandfather would have had something to do with it, if he could. I do believe, that during the few seconds, moment, that I felt the freezing breeze, could it then have been when the bridge was placed in my pocket? My home is haunted by 3 spirits. One is a young boy approximate 5, dresses in blue clothes from I would say Victorian era. 2 is an older lady dressed in fairly recent clothing, believe she is the lady that lived here directly before us, as it's believed she may have died in the home but not sure. She lives here all her life. And the 3rd is just a black shadow that runs across the house. We have had things go missing from around the house. The strangest thing being my hubby's protein shaker disappeared for around 3 months. Turned up stood up right behind his seat, we checked there multiple times, but the strangest part is the milk/protein shake that was left in there hadn't turned or anything. Didn't even smell. The little boy I hear calling mama or mother, it's like he's looking for her. At the end of my road is a very old castle. Recently something that changed as I have started to be hurt by something. Only me though. I have been pushed/shoved on my upper SRM, almost hit the floor. Then other time it was like someone didn't want me in the house. I went out our back door, I put my arm in to grab a lighter and the door was pushed hard onto my arm. Then when I went to come back in our home it was so hard for me to open the door. No other doors or windows were open and no one else was in the room. I would love to learn more and find out why they are here, can I help them and why are they now hurting me. I have other encounter with these 3 spirits I can share if anyone is interested. Thanks.
You're a smart fellow.
Saturdays for the boys. You can watch movies with the tribe on depleted uranium drive-in theater Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on Twitch TV.
Like, share and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to ring the notification bell. You can follow us on Twitter at Motel and RV Park. Catch the live streams on Rumble. Listen to text-to-speech stories on Atomic Shaman TTS on YouTube.